everybody. I'd like to talk to y'all about my culture being a black woman, being raised in a Southern Baptist church. I'm going to give a little bit of background on that. My grandparents are the first lady and pastor of Galena Park Baptist Church, and they've always been my pastor. And so I got to be a PK kid in that household. I want to begin by talking about Sunday's best. Of course, it doesn't start on Sunday. It usually starts on Saturday. And what that looks like is hot cones and grease and stockings from Walgreens that you gotta put a little clear fingernail polish on it to stop it from running. You know what a snagged pantyhose are. Making sure your hair's done and sleeping pretty. Sometimes we even utilize panties on our head instead of bandanas. So a little bit of that. If you stay the night at grandma's house, guess who also got to go to church? You do, because we probably got to dress your size, right? So that all coming together just made me just recognize how important fellowship is and how important preparation is, and just magnifying and giving glory to God, because Sunday's best is way more than is more than clothes. It's more than showing up with your edges laid or your curls all intact and with your sponge curls like my grandma used to do. It's way more than that. It's showing up, respecting the church, respecting the reason why we're here. In fact, way back in the day, I have to show this picture here. This is a photograph found on the African American Museum, and it's the congregation of the 16th Street Baptist Church. Way back, even in slavery days, Albert Robertois wrote about the invisible institution of the Black church, and that's basically where Christian people will come together, slaves who will fellowship in secret, because they weren't allowed to do that outside of the control of the slave master. So things like jumping a broom and all of those culture-rich traditions that we still do today, in fact. So that's that. And here's my sons getting together with their Sunday best. They got suits on, and that's what means so much to me as a mother, passing that legacy down to my children, hoping that they understand the power and magnitude of coming together and preparing for such a thing. So that's that. It's them being raised up in the way that they should go. And then that's me, my grandma, and my daughter. So that's 4 generations of love, faith, and fellowship. So here's that. You guys want to see? And that's me and the kids and our Sunday's best. And like I said, it's major to me, raising kids, that they understand the traditions and that they understand how important it is to serve God and to fellowship together and come together. We also learned in Anthony Penn's Black church the post-civil rights era, how the Black church was not only for fellowship and praising God, but also social activism. So it's always been key. Martin Luther King was a pastor. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who we just lost, he's a reverend. So activism is also big in the Black church. So with that, I thank you all for listening, and I hope that I informed you all a little bit of my culture.